Unboxing the 100,000 subscriber YouTube silver play button. I'm Chris. This is Yellow Productions. I do travel guides that are fun, informative, and entertaining. This is a live stream, so if you're on the live stream, definitely ask questions. If you're watching the archive, we'll make sure to subscribe, hit that bell for notifications so you get notified of future live streams. I'm joined by my colleagues, Topher and Columbus, and I have a special guest that I'm joined by that I'll introduce a little bit later during this live stream. But in this live stream, it's all about opening this up. So this is something that YouTube sends out as a milestone for achieving that 100,000 subscribers, which I was very honored to hit just a few weeks ago. So this is the final part of my 100,000 subscriber celebration, and a lot of people said, Chris, make sure you do a video unboxing that play button, so that's what we are doing today. Number of you on the live stream, hello to Nod32IA, Number One Otaku, Brandon, How to Build Credit TV, Michael, Tony, Vladimir, Yippee, Eric, Karis, and maybe there was one I missed, but if you're on, thank you for joining us. So this is what the box looks like, but let me talk about the process of getting the box. So it's not like an immediate kind of thing. So as I hit 100,000 subscribers, I'm like, how do I go get the silver play button? And actually, YouTube sends a notification maybe a couple weeks afterwards with a claim code in it, and then they have you go to the separate website to essentially redeem the code to then get the silver play button. And what they essentially want you to do, or wanted me to do, was make sure that my channel name was spelled correctly and that they were going to ship it to the right place. And so after that, it was about a week, and here it is in this nice sturdy black box right here. I've already opened up the tape so that this isn't a painful experience of me like cutting my finger while I'm opening it. And I did black out my address for all you stalkers out there. I'm watching you. Please don't show up at my house. So opening up this box here, as we go in the box, there's some black foam and there's a little card right here, and this card says, congratulations on your subscriber milestone. We are honored to take part in recognizing your achievement and want your experience to be exceptional. This award was inspected and packaged with great care by Rick. Well, thank you, Rick, from Society Awards, which is obviously where YouTube outsources these awards to. There's a little bit of foam on it, and then underneath the foam there's a letter, and then there's the plaque. So we'll get to the plaque in a moment, but there's this letter right here that comes signed from the CEO of YouTube. Can you read that? It's focused, it's not too blurry. It says, you've just done something that very few YouTube creators accomplish. You had an astounding 100,000 people subscribe to your channel. We know that numbers can get really big, but we hope you don't lose sight of the reality behind that 6-digit milestone. Each and every person who subscribed to your channel has been touched by what you created. They were inspired, challenged, or entertained. And it goes on for a couple more paragraphs. And it says, we're rooting for you. Congratulations. Yours sincerely, Susan, the CEO of YouTube. And by the way, I definitely do not lose sight of that. And that's one of the things, certainly, 100,000 subscribers seems like a big number, but I know that's each and every one of you individually click that subscribe button because there's some value you get from Yellow Productions, and I love it. And I love that you join the live streams. I love the comments. I love the congratulations. And so thank you very much. I think it's an amazing community, actually, that we built here, and I couldn't have done it without all of you. And then without further ado, here's that silver play button. So here, let me take it out of the box, and I'll put the box down on the floor. Whoop. And all right, so here it is, and it's interesting because it has a mirror on it, so you can actually see what I'm seeing on the screen behind my camera. Let's see, where's the camera right there? There's the camera right there. All right, and it says, presented to Yellow Productions for passing 100,000 subscribers YouTube. It's a pretty hefty thing. It's got a felt on the back, and so that's pretty neat. This is going to go up on the wall where I usually do my live streams. You'll notice I'm in a slightly different room today, but that's because of this special guest that we have right here. So that's the silver play button. It is truly fantastic, and a lot of you will also notice when I leave comments or something like that, and I'll leave one in the comment section right now, I get that little check mark next to the channel name. That's also a benefit of passing 100,000 subscribers. Interesting note about these, and the reason why YouTube makes it like almost an application process to get the play button is they want to make sure they're sending it out to, I guess, what they would call advertiser-friendly and family-friendly channels. So there are actually a number of channels that they don't send these to because they essentially don't consider them worthy of being a real YouTube channel. So it is fantastic. And so I'm going to go ahead and put that plaque right there. But now that covers up Columbus, so he's going to come down here. Well, that didn't work out all that well, did it? Well, here, Topher's going to go here, and I'll figure that out in a little bit. All right, well, Columbus will just have his head in the picture right there. All right, so I'm going to go to the comments for a little bit, and then I've got some news I want to share with you guys, but I also want to show and share with you the special guest who's joining us today. So this is another unboxing, and I'm gonna pick up the camera. This is something we just received. Is received the right word? Adopted? I'm not sure what's the right word. But just down here off the corner, if you notice, there's a box, and in the box is a bunny. It's a Netherland dwarf. His name is MacGyver. He is 9 weeks old. He's got a little thing of hay over there as well. And if you're curious, he actually did not come in the box. We have a bunny house for him outside. We adopted him from a lady in Orange County here. Look, he even stands up right there. And so that is our new addition to the Yellow Productions family right there. And we've had him for exactly 1 day. So I'm not sure if he'll join us on future travels. Probably not, because it's hard to travel with a bunny, but hey, maybe on future live streams. And Brandon Torres says, my God, that is so cute. Yeah, I wanted to bring a little bit of extra cuteness to the live stream today, so that's the cuteness right there. All right, let me reposition this camera. Okay, so going to the comments, lots of people said congratulations. Thank you all for the congratulations. Karis said, hi from the UK, going to Vegas in September. Stumbled across your channels, love your video. SoCal Seth says, aloha, congratulations, so proud of you. Thank you, Seth, I appreciate it. Mike says, a proud moment for you. Andrea Beers said, just found you a few weeks ago, heading to Oahu soon, and found you that way. That's awesome, Andrea. I hope you enjoy your trip to Oahu. Lots of applause, things from Build Credit, balloons, the first of many congratulations. Saud says he loves the Maui videos. How to Build Credit says this is inspiring. Eric says, congrats, Chris and Topher. And Columbus, and now MacGyver, because I think he'll be able to do anything, really. Inspired by MacGyver, OC Girl, my wife MacGyver, is her favorite TV show, so that's where that name came from. And OC Girl says, when MacGyver's not on a mission to save the world, he'll be on the live stream. That's right. Since he is kind of an action hero, he might be out on his own missions, separate from my missions. Darmveer says, your Vegas videos help me a lot. Awesome. Jazz This says, YouTube has to confiscate the play button now due to false advertising. The bunny isn't yellow. You're right. We couldn't find any yellow bunnies. And if you heard some scraping, I think that was him like scratching or scraping the box on the side. They do like to chew. Ricky says, by the way, I got the 2 shirts but haven't had a chance to wear yet. That's awesome, Ricky. If you put them on, send me a picture. I'll be giving out another shirt today during this live stream for someone who answers some magical question in a little bit. And so I also want to make another announcement, and then I'm going to take questions. It'll be open Q&A. So think about what questions you want to ask. But my announcement is, hey, now that I've been really successful with this channel at 100,000 subscribers, and a lot of you ask me this question, hey, Chris, what do you do so that you can travel so much? And so I have an answer to that in this video that I'm going to share with you. This is a special sneak peek. Separate, I made this like frequently asked questions video that I answered like 20 of these questions, which I answered that question in there, but I actually go into more detail about it and more detail about what I do and maybe what I'm thinking when I'm not making YouTube videos and not traveling, because in order to travel, right, we all have to make some income. And frankly, I don't make my income from YouTube. I make my income from having an office job. That's where I spend most of my time throughout the day, and so I'll be launching a channel in the coming weeks or months, something like that. Haven't really established a launch date yet, but it will be called the Office Survival Guide to help you survive the office. So I want to roll the travel the channel trailer, and ask your questions, and then I will start to answer those. So if I click this button, we should. Let's see.
Survival Guide channel, I'm Chris.
There we go.
Welcome to the Office Survival Guide channel. I'm Chris, and on this channel, we do fun, informative, entertaining videos to help you navigate the office life, to take you from feeling like you've just survived a work week to feeling like you've crushed it. Our goal here is to give you the skills you need to be awesome in the office. If you work in an office job, this channel is for you. Whether you work in human resources, sales, marketing, you're an intern, you're a manager, or even if you're an engineer who already knows everything, yes, I guarantee you'll find something useful on this channel. That is, unless you have a job where you don't work with people and you only work with dogs and trees. If that's the case, I want to know where you work because I'm interested in your job. But if that's you, then you can click off this channel because this is all about working with people in an office setting. Oh, and by the way, if this is your first time here, but I look kind of familiar to you, I also have a travel channel on YouTube called Yellow Productions Travel Guides, where I travel the world and do videos about it. But on that channel, people often ask me, Chris, how can you afford traveling so much? And I usually give answers about credit cards and miles and points, but the real reason I can afford it, frankly, I have a full-time office job that helps support my expensive travel habit. On that channel, I travel with Topher, my traveling panda, but on this channel, I'm going to be joined by Columbus. I'm Chris, he's Columbus. Together we make Christopher Columbus, and we'll be helping you navigate the office life. So definitely hit that subscribe button for new videos on a regular basis and check out some of the tip videos we've got on offer.
All right, well, there we go. That was the special sneak peek just for you guys on the live stream because I know you guys are the super fans. I'll be doing a more formal announcement and things like that where you can find it, subscribe, and all those things. But I figure, hey, we all have to feed our travel habits somehow, and for most of us, that's probably an office job. Brandon Torres says, wow, second channel. Karis says, love this idea. Brandon says, amazing. Rainy Stoner says, love it. Rainy, your first name is my last name. Actually, you've got an I, and I don't have an I. I say add an I and an E. Kaz Stewart says, love the comment on the engineers. Yes, and I am an engineer myself, so I figure it's okay to poke fun at myself. Sod says, he works in property management, how to build travel credit TV. Says great trailer, and so now I'm going to go to the questions. So the first question right here, let's see, did that show up as an overlay? That did not show up as an overlay. Now, there we go, there's the overlay. All right, B. Rod says, where are you traveling to next? That is an excellent question. My next travel, I think, will be in April. I am heading to Las Vegas for the National Association of Broadcasters conference. Actually, I'm going to be on a panel there all about travel. It's just kind of a day trip there and back. Obviously, Vegas is one of these places that, you know, I'm like a moth to a light, that it seems to be back in Vegas all the time. But I'll be there for the National Association of Broadcasters conference. We're trying to figure out where we should plan for our next big trip. You know, we're thinking someplace in the summer, someplace in the summer that's then cold, so maybe like Finland or Iceland or Scotland, things that aren't going to have oppressive heat. All right, so now let me go to the next question. The next question is, Karis says, if you only had one day in Vegas, what would you do? Is that me if it's one day for me because I've been there a gazillion times, or if I'm recommending that to somebody for their first time going? I guess I could answer both ways. Me, when I'm going and I just have a day and I want to experience Vegas, I generally take like a walk down the whole strip. I'm a big walker, so I'll start from one end and walk to the other. That takes like half the day or the whole day. I generally eat at some buffet of a sort because I feel like eating at a Vegas buffet is a big part of the experience. Wicked Spoon is one that we really like. Also, the Aria buffet is pretty good. I think to take in the Bellagio fountains, visit the Bellagio Conservatory, take a look at the Mirage volcano. Those are just the big experiences. I mean, really just walk around. I don't really do the nightclubs, and you know, I might put $20 in the slot machine. I know I'm not going to win, but I figure it's a donation to the casinos. So that's a little bit of what I do and what I'd recommend that you do. Melissa says, you are so corny. I love it. That is me. I am proud to be corny. And Sharpie 999, Christopher Columbus, genius. Yes, especially because we'll help you navigate the office life and we help you navigate travel. All right, so there we go. Let's see. Princess Travel says, I work in a call center and use my income to travel. All right, excellent, Princess Travels. That's pretty much like an office job, right? If you're in a call center, that's an office. Yippee says, will OC Girl ever join you in a video? I don't know. You will have to ask her. She's on the comments down below, but actually, she's been in a few, and she typically runs camera, so where you'll find her is in the hotel reviews, in mirrors and things like that. She's there. She's there in almost every video. She's just on the other side of the camera, so it wouldn't be possible without her. Kevin Stevens says, are you coming to Puerto Rico sometime? I don't know. That'd be cool. Never been to Puerto Rico, but it would be neat to visit. Jazz This says, I'm definitely going to watch that new channel, even though I'm a full-time musician. Excellent, Jazz This. Because as a musician, you probably have to work with people at one point in time. How to Build Credit TV says, how long did it take you to get 100,000 subscribers and how many videos have you uploaded? I started YouTube in 2008 and actually my 100,000 subscriber celebration video, if you haven't seen that one, go check it out. I kind of go through the whole process of starting YouTube and why I got into it. But it's August 2008 is when I created my YouTube channel. It took me almost 8 years or something to get 10,000 subscribers, and then 10,000 to 100,000 has been pretty quick over the last 2 or 3 years. And actually, I'll say that it's the Las Vegas series that really, I think, catapulted the channel. But I think also these live streams have been fantastic as well. And certainly I've loved the live streams quite a bit because I love interacting with you all and helping answer your questions. Sharpie 999 says about that travel I'm planning to take that England is always cold, so that's probably a good summer destination. Never Nothing says you're lucky to travel so much. I consider myself, honored might not be the right word. I don't know that I would say lucky because it's intentional that we travel so much. It's not like a lot of luck. We didn't like roll the dice and we end up on an airplane, but we book tickets and we go places, and so we make it a priority. Jake McShane says, sorry I got on late. Do I see two Tophers? Jake, you see Columbus and you see Topher. So I'm Chris, he's Topher, we make Christopher, and we're joined by Columbus, so the three of us make Christopher Columbus. Saud says, do a drive to Vegas stops video. I've got one kind of like that coming out, which is not really an entire drive to Vegas, but it is one about one of the cool attractions on the way. There's this bottle ranch, this guy that has like all these bottles that he set up to look like trees and things like that. So that'll be coming out as a neat stop to Vegas. Hakim asked for my real name. My real name is Chris. That is my real name. Brandon says, what kind of engineer are you? I am a computer scientist. And so computer scientist, the funny part about that is it's got the word science in it, and it makes you think like I might wear a white coat and all those things. But frankly, that's, writing software code, which is pretty close to engineering. Tony asked if OC Girl is shy, and OC Girl answered that in the comments, and she said she is very shy. Let's see. Ricky says, join Chris at least in the videos with Q&A. You know what, Ricky? She's here. She just answered in the comments section, right? That's it. Michael asks, experiences in Phoenix and Arizona. A couple positive, a couple negative. My negative experience in Arizona is that the only place I've ever gotten a speeding ticket is in Arizona, is outside of Phoenix. Between Phoenix and Flagstaff, I got a ticket from their highway patrol. I think the speed limit was 70 or 75, and I was going 80 or 85. I mean, it was one of those roads that had 0 people on it, and when I saw this Arizona Highway Patrol on the side of the road, I knew I was going to get a ticket. And sure enough, I drive by, he comes out, pulls me over, and he's like, I'll make this quick. I'll give you your ticket and you'll be on the way in 5 minutes. I'm like, fantastic. Phoenix is a dry heat. It is really hot in Phoenix. But we've enjoyed the Scottsdale area. And then OC Girl took a separate trip herself to Sedona. She really enjoyed Sedona as well. We do want to visit the Grand Canyon, which we haven't visited. But Scottsdale is a pretty neat place in Phoenix. Near Phoenix? Part of the Phoenix metro area. Corina W asks, of all the places you've covered, which would you most like to live and why? As I drink some tea here. Oh, this is my Winnie the Pooh teacup right here. It's got Winnie the Pooh. He's got a balloon. And then you can see him looking out this way. I'm drinking some English breakfast tea from Harrods, which I always pronounce not the way the British do, but that's the big department store in London. So, which would you most like to live and why? Tokyo, Japan. Japan is one of those places we've traveled quite a bit. I think Tokyo is just this fantastic place where public transportation actually works. They actually have customer service. And there's just a lot of great things about Tokyo. It's just, there's so much energy, there's so much to do, there's so much to see. I feel like I've been to Tokyo 5 or 10 times, but I've probably covered 2% of it. Now, I'm not sure that I'd want to actually work in a Japanese company, because speaking about the office life, there's this Japanese term, it's actually a Japanese phrase, but it means death by overwork, and that's actually like a thing in Japan, that people die because they work too much, so I'm not too much into that. But I do love Tokyo, and I love the food and everything there. Jay Mees says, how was Santa Cruz and Capitola? Santa Cruz and Capitola was awesome. Actually, I would say it surpassed our expectations. It was my third time I've been to Santa Cruz. Previously, I've been there sort of like on day trips, if you could even call it a day trip. More like a couple hours when I was in the Bay Area. I'd swing into Santa Cruz. This was the first time we really spent like 3 days there. And so it was pretty fun. We enjoyed going through the redwoods. We enjoyed the steam train. We enjoyed the mystery spot. It's just kind of a neat, quirky, silly seaside destination. So that was pretty fun. I would recommend to the rest of you, if you're in San Francisco, Silicon Valley area, to definitely consider a visit to Santa Cruz. B. Rod says, are you going to San Diego Comic-Con this year? Absolutely. I have a 4-day pass. I will be there, and I will be live streaming. Tau Empire Kid says, how about a San Francisco video? Yeah, I need to do that. I haven't. I've been to San Francisco a number of times, though I haven't put any videos together because I haven't been there in such a way that I've had a lot of time to do video, though it's on my list of things to do. Rob Van Gelderen asks, what would be the best amount of days to stay in Vegas just to see nice things? If it's your first time to Vegas, I would recommend at least 3 days. I think you could certainly fill up 5 days if you'd never been there before, but I would say no less than 3 days. Okay. So let's see here. Kevin Stevens says, what travel agency do you think is best? That's an interesting question. I typically don't use travel agencies. About the only time we use travel agencies are when we're going to Asia sometimes, and there's certain fairs going to Asia, particularly to Taiwan, that you can only book through travel agents. So in that case, there's a local travel agent here in Orange County that specializes in travel to Asia that we book those through. I've also been recently introduced to the concept of like Disney travel agents, that Disney has this whole affiliated travel agent thing. And so we're currently working with a Disney-related travel agent to try and book some experiences at Disneyland. And if that pans out well, then I'll give you hopefully some positive feedback about that too. How to Build Credit TV says, dude, your production value is insane. Super smooth and professional. I appreciate it, How to Build Credit TV, and I love that you use the word dude. A dude is a great word. I like the word dude. And over the last, I would say, year or two, I've invested quite a bit in cameras, equipment, editing, all that stuff to try to make it absolutely look professional and not look like something that was, say, done on a cell phone. This is interesting because actually this live stream I'm doing a little differently. I usually do it on a camcorder. I'm doing this one on a 4K Logitech webcam. All right. Kevin David says, when would you go to Japan? I go to Japan all the time. But if you mean like what are the best seasons to go to Japan, March and April is really good because of the cherry blossoms. And then I also like October and November, fall season, the leaves are changing, it's not too hot. Japan can be really hot and humid in the summer, so I generally try to avoid the hottest and most humid summer months. John wants a shout out. Shout out to you, John. Cleakin? I'm not sure how to pronounce your last name, but shout out to you, John. Andreas says, greetings from Berlin. Greetings to you in Germany. Thank you for joining in. Hopefully this worked out as a good time for you to join in from Europe. Usually I do these 8 p.m. on Monday nights. I thought I'd pick a slightly different time to give different people opportunities to dive in. Events Videos 123 says, I love your videos. I find your videos so informal. Thanks. I will take that as a good thing. That could probably be perceived negatively to say, you know, they're informal, so therefore they're lame. But I pride myself in informal because I think that's kind of what this YouTube medium is, right? And I think that's actually a difference between, say, YouTube versus broadcast television or a newscaster. Broadcast television, you can tell those people are speaking to the world, where YouTube, you know, I just try to speak to you more, right? And part of my theory about making these videos is, you know, when people go on travel, like they read books and all stuff, but they also ask their friends, they try to get advice and say like, hey, you know, hey, did you go to Bangkok? Have you been to Singapore? What did you do? And so I essentially try to deliver the videos and information in that way. Like if you were my friend or you were my neighbor and you were asking me that question, the answers I give on my channel are the same answers I would give my neighbor or my friend. How to Build Credit TV says, we need more thumbs up for this video, guys. Let's give it some thumbs up. That would be fantastic. If you are watching this video and you enjoy it, please give it a thumbs up. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Daramvir says, would you recommend having a separate travel camera or just using your phone? I like taking a camera on international trips, but use just... And that truncated, didn't it? Where's the rest of the thing? But use my iPhone for US trips. Right. So in the background, right here. Actually, I've got this pointer right here. I got this just for this. This camera right here, this Sony 4K camcorder. This is the camera that I always take with me on travel. I would recommend that you have a separate camera for travel. I mean, if you're serious about making videos, have a separate camera for travel, because a dedicated video camera will take much better video and much better audio than your iPhone will. I know that people will argue this fact and say, like, you know, the piano guys have done videos on their iPhone, things like that. The thing that the camcorder does that an iPhone doesn't, particularly this one, the Sony 4K camcorder. By the way, I've got a whole video about the equipment that I use. You can also find it in my frequently asked questions video. But basically that camcorder is a giant stabilized lens. So even if your hand is shaky or you're shaking it, it'll be really stable, which is really good for travel. You just open it up, start shooting. So I recommend you have a separate camera, and not one that has like 27 attachments and lenses and is hard to use, but something you can just turn on and shoot. Really the only time I use my cell phone to do anything related to this channel is if I'm doing like live streams. I may live stream from a cell phone. Also when I publish on my YouTube stories, I use cell phones. And also maybe if I'm in like a hotel or I'm in a space that I think that they'll harass me for pulling out my big camera, then I'll do like a shot using my cell phone camera, because people generally don't harass you for using a cell phone camera to take video. But some reason when you pull out a camera like that, people are like, oh, no video, no video. I'll be like, man, what's wrong with you? Anyway, but that's a topic probably for another video. Somebody asked for that in a different one that said, Chris, can you do a video about like how to videotape in public places? Events Videos 123 says, will you be doing any videos in Orlando? As I think that would be good watch as you did for Las Vegas. I don't have any plans to go to Orlando in the near future. I'd certainly like to, and I'd say that probably is some future series, but not one in the immediate future. Hakim says, what mean yellow color? Hakim, you should check out my frequently asked questions video. I answer the question, why is this channel called Yellow Productions? But as you can tell, I like the color yellow. And if you weren't sure I like the color yellow, I drive a yellow car too. So if you ever saw me drive by, I'm in a yellow car. Sharpie 999 says, where have you visited that you didn't like and why? You know, I really hate to dime out places, and I get that question a lot, and I should have put it in my frequently asked question video. But one place that I have a video on, and it's not that I hate the place, but I hated the smell, was Naples, Italy. And I was in Naples, Italy during a garbage strike. They've had issues with the trash getting picked up, and so the whole city was just filled with trash. Because you figure what happens when an entire city no longer has trash pickup services. If you want to watch that video, just search on YouTube for Naples, Italy, the city of trash, and you will find it. Actually, I'd totally go back to Naples again. Mike says, how long do you think it will take to get to 1 million subscribers? I have a couple different answers to that question. If it's the same rate that it took me to get 100,000, a really long time. But this last month, 10,000 of you joined as subscribers, and I think that there's sort of this progression on YouTube that, like, as people see that a channel's been subscribed by more people, then more people hit that subscribe button. There's this website called Social Blade, and it does like forecasts to say, based on your current trajectory and other channels, we estimate this amount of time. The Social Blade estimate is 3 years. So we'll see. I'll keep my fingers crossed. Saad says, I live in Long Beach. Your LA vids and videos are 100% accurate. Thank you, Saad. I appreciate it. Kelly is going to Disneyland and says, if I'm going to Disneyland and I have 4 days, should I split 2 and 2 between both parks, or 3 in Disneyland and 1 in California Adventure? Huh. That's a good question. I am assuming that you are not getting a park hopper pass. I kind of recommend the park hopper pass, because then you can do different things in different parks and you don't have to plan things ahead all that much. I think it depends when you're going, and it depends what the events are. Like what parades are, or World of Colors on, whether Fantasmic's on. I wouldn't necessarily say you should do 3 and 1, but I do think Disneyland is a bigger park. If you have little kids that are with you, then you might enjoy 3 and 1, because California Adventure has more big kid rides. But I think 2 and 2 would be good if it's, the kids are, say, like 13 or older. Andreas says, what's your favorite airline? Great, I answered that longer form in my frequently asked questions video. My favorite airline is Singapore Airlines, though I fly United quite often because United just goes where I want to go. Mark Torres says, are you going to Spain anytime soon? We were in Spain maybe 3 or 4 years ago. We did Barcelona, Madrid, those sorts of things. So probably not again anytime soon, but we did enjoy Spain. It was a pretty cool place. Ricky says, what's the reason for the live stream on a Saturday versus your typical Monday evening? Yeah, that's a great question. I've been busy on Mondays a lot, so I haven't been able to do those. And also, I thought that, this edition that I talked about earlier, right, which was the bunny back there, right, the bunny, MacGyver, if you didn't see that, MacGyver right there as the new edition. So he is also the reason, because he was part of the unboxing, to say, hey, I just got the play button and I just got him, and I thought that would be a fun combination. And I'm planning to do more of these open Q&A type live streams. Like the live streams I typically do them about a certain topic, and then I try to almost not answer the questions that are off topic. But my intention, at least maybe once every 2 months, is to do a video like this that's open Q&A. And in the future, when I do these, they will be called Yellow Productions Office Hours. you know, kind of like a professor, right? They have office hours, and they have an office hour, and you can stop by and ask the professor any questions you want to. Though you don't have to call me Mr. Rainey, because as somebody said before, I am pretty informal. Amanda says, are the dinner and Mick tastic show in Disneyland worth the price? Amanda, if you mean Fantasmic, I would definitely recommend booking the Blue Bayou Fantasmic dining package. I think Blue Bayou is really neat because it's in the Pirates of the Caribbean ride, and then you get reserved seats to see Fantasmic. So yes, I think it's worth it. Kevin asks, what platform do you use to edit your videos? I typically use the software called Vegas. It's originally by Sony because I use Sony cameras. It's now owned by a company called Magix. If I'm traveling and I'm on the road and I'm cranking something out real quick, I use Final Cut Pro because when I travel with Macintosh laptops. It's super funny. When I travel, I have a Mac laptop. When I'm at home, I'm all Windows. And particularly to do live streaming, to do these live streams, I use some software called vMix, which is made by some really cool and wacky Australian guys. John says, what was your favorite hotel in Las Vegas and why? That's a great question, too. I'm curious if you've seen my video on the 5 best luxury hotels in Las Vegas. But my favorite hotel in Las Vegas is the Venetian Hotel, which is what I put as #1 in there. I like the location. I like the theming. I like that you can park and get to your room without having to go to the casino. My second favorite is the Wynn and the Encore. Ricky says, other than your awesome videos, what other travel resources do you use? Which book or web page? Yeah, that's a great question. And I guess I would say I probably don't use my own videos as travel resources since they're mine, right? And I don't make them until afterwards. But I could probably get a book off the shelf back here. Let's see. So, picking up a few books. I mean, if this is a question about like what books do I take, there's a lot of books back here. And now I'm looking for where's the other one? I don't know where that one is.
Japanese.
Yeah, the Japanese ones.
So at the bottom, right there.
Here.
Yeah.
Very good. Okay. So right. So here are a lot of books. And our favorite book dude is definitely Rick Steves. Rick Steves makes these really awesome guidebooks. If there's somebody that I would say I inspire myself after, it's Rick Steves. Like when you read his books, it's kind of the same perspective that he's telling you. What do you tell you, a friend? Good things, bad things, don't do this, go at this time. You know, we'll get multiple guidebooks. We'll get Frommer's guidebooks. We'll get, you know, eyewitness travel guidebooks. Going to Hawaii, I really love this series. It's like the Hawaii Revealed series. They have one on Maui, Oahu. It's written by some people who live in Hawaii. It's really detailed, and they tell you these things like, you'll find this beach, this cove, go down here. The locals don't want us to tell you this, but we do. And then finally, we really love these Japanese guidebooks. This is one that's actually in Japan. OC Girl can read Japanese. I can't. We have an English version of this, but I couldn't find the English version. And this, if you haven't seen my video on Inside a Japanese Guidebook on San Diego, Japanese guidebooks are like the most detailed guidebooks ever. So when we go to a destination, we probably buy 4 or 5 books on that destination. I'll go to Amazon, I'll just see what books are there, and I buy them all. Because I figure, you know, why be cheap, right? We're spending, you know, $2,000 to $5,000 to go someplace, and, you know, spending $50 to get a few books, I think that's not too bad. All right. Let's see. Eduardo says, I love your channel. You deserve your button. Thank you, Eduardo. I appreciate it. Whoa, wrong button. Ricky says, any quick tips to Portugal? I've got a few different videos on Portugal, but I would say it depends how long you're going. I would definitely recommend visiting Lisbon. So we did Lisbon, Nazaré, Coimbra, and Porto. I think that was a pretty kind of cool journey. You know, I would say visit the cities, but also visit the seaside country towns, because there's just kind of this more relaxed vibe you get in the country that you don't really get in Lisbon or Porto. Melissa says, I'm going to Tokyo in 2 weeks, first time. Isn't it too much of a culture shock for you? I'm worried about that because even Hawaii felt probably like a culture shock. That's actually one of the reasons why I like Japan. I like that it is very different, because I figure if I'm going to travel, I want to go someplace that is different as opposed to someplace that's the same, right? And so I would just say embrace the different culture. And I think that experiencing different cultures to me is really what travel is all about. And I'll tell you, if you've watched a lot of my videos about Japan things to know, Tokyo, travel to this and that, I think you'll be down with the culture, and I think you'll roll with it pretty good. Steve in Stereo says, congratulations on 100,000 coming to LA in July. Where would you recommend me staying if I need to get downtown? That's a great question, Steve in Stereo. And actually, I will be shooting a video titled Where to Stay in Los Angeles, because I get that question all the time. If you need to be in downtown, stay in downtown. Downtown LA actually has a lot of hotels. My favorite hotels are around the LA Live complex. The JW Marriott's probably my favorite, but if you take a look at the hotels that are like 2 blocks around the JW Marriott, I think that's a pretty good neighborhood in downtown LA. Daniel says, hi, just want to thank you for your vids about cheap eats in Hawaii. We used them on our honeymoon in October and we really enjoyed your recommendations, especially in Waikiki. Yummy Korean barbecue. Fantastic, Daniel. And yes, that Korean barbecue is pretty darn delicious. Paul Murphy says, hi, Paul here. I'm from sunny Scotland and I'm going to Los Angeles for 10 days in mid-July. Also going to San Diego for a day trip during Comic-Con. Will we get round San Diego City Center in 6 hours duration that we're looking forward to the trip? Can't wait. If that's a question of, is 6 hours good for the San Diego City Center? Yeah, probably. I mean, there's like the downtown, the Gaslamp District. You'd probably see most of that, walk around the bay, visit Seaport Village, visit Balboa Park. I think Balboa Park is a pretty neat area to visit that's right near downtown. That's probably all you'll be able to do. The Midway is pretty cool, which is this old Navy aircraft carrier, but I'm not sure you'll have enough time to visit it. You might try and squeeze that in, but just don't stay too long in there. Fernanda says, hi, saw your Disney videos before I was there. Say hello. Hello, Fernanda. Thanks for joining in. B. Rod says his daughter, Liana, is a huge fan. Can you give her a shout out? Shout out to Liana. And Liana really loves my Disneyland tour. Thank you very much. How to build Credit TV. You and this pointer. I like it. This pointer? Is this the pointer that you like? In case you're wondering, this pointer came from Japan. I like to bring back lots of silly stuff from Japan. So, Shane says, you made Vegas fun for my first trip. That's awesome, Shane. Nod32IA says, what are your worst travel experiences? That's a great question. I think I should make a video all about my worst travel experiences. But probably that one I talked about, Naples, Italy, was pretty bad. I've had some like really bad flight delays. Delayed for like days on end. But I feel like the worst thing is like being sick someplace. You know, I was in Amsterdam and I got like so sick in Amsterdam. I was in the room for 3 days with the flu. I couldn't leave. But no, my worst experience, why is this hard to think about? My worst experience is definitely when I was in Hawaii this time last year, and I was at the Ala Moana shopping center, and I misstepped when I was getting on the escalator, and I severely cut my toe on the escalator. Like, the skin came off the bottom of my toe. It was really, really gnarly. I ended up in an ambulance. I got to see Kaiser in Hawaii. And in case you're wondering, the emergency room doctors in Hawaii do wear Hawaiian aloha shirts. I had to go home the next day. Like, I couldn't walk, and it was pretty lousy. But hey, I got to see a different part of Hawaii, the emergency room that I hadn't planned on. Brian is bored, says, do you have any recommendations for things to do in Orlando besides the amusement parks? Not in Orlando. I would probably say, you can take a day trip out to the beach. I think it's Daytona or Fort Lauderdale. I mean, there are some beaches that are pretty well near there. I recommend if you're in Orlando during the summer, like that you visit the theme parks early morning, like get there right when they open, then like leave at lunchtime when it gets really hot, and then come back in the evening. Like take a nap if you need to. Alonzo says hello and thank you for the great videos. Hello, Alonzo. Matthew asks a very interesting question. Do you like mustard? Maybe because it's yellow. No, I hate mustard, actually. The Hot Chicken says, we'll be cruising to the Hawaiian Islands round trip in San Francisco. We'll only have one full day in Oahu. Thinking about renting a car. What are the must-dos? Well, in Oahu, you'll have one full day in Oahu. Yeah, I mean, if you have one day in Oahu, you definitely want to get a car. The must-dos is to visit Waikiki, visit Pearl Harbor, hike Diamond Head, and probably see the Halona blowhole. Those are like the highlights on my top list for one day. KP says, I love your videos. You don't talk about your day job much. You mentioned that you would never visit North Korea. I would never visit North Korea because I don't want to end up captured in North Korea. That's why. Princess Travel says, have you been in the Philippines? I've never been to the Philippines. A lot of people say I should go. I would love to join. Sharpie999 says, this live stream is brilliant. When is the Dance Dance Nation live stream coming soon? That's a great question. Yeah, maybe next time OC Girl and I visit the arcade together, I'll live stream some dance and stuff. That'd be fun. Alonzo says, have you ever been to the Queen Mary Hotel in Long Beach, California? A number of times, actually. It's like a place around here, definitely. I think if you live in Southern California, you've definitely been to the Queen Mary. Is it amazing? No. Is it interesting? Yes. Is it like on the top of a list of things I'd recommend for people who are coming to LA? Probably not. Kevin Steven says, how many days do you think it would take to see all of Washington, D.C.? Also, what's your favorite museum there? Oh, all of Washington, D.C. There's a lot to see in Washington, D.C. All of Washington, D.C. would take a really long time, like a week, probably. I mean, you still wouldn't see all of it. Like, actually, I lived in Washington, D.C. for a year, and I'm not sure that I saw all of it. But I would say, like, minimum, give yourself 5 days in Washington, D.C. My favorite museum is the National Air and Space Museum. They have two locations. They have one in downtown DC, but they have another one out by Dulles Airport, and frankly, I think they are both fantastic. Eric says, good afternoon. Good afternoon, Eric. Events Video says, do you fund all your trips by your job or sponsoring? By my job. To this point, I really have not had much in the way of significant sponsorship for my channel. There have been a few videos that maybe you've seen that like I review a product because people like send that to me. Not really a lot in the way of like, hey, come to Thailand and we'll pay for you to be here. But that's okay because as I've said before, I do this because I enjoy it and not necessarily because I'm intending to make a fortune out of it. Though I will say that certainly the ad revenue that comes through does really help to buy cameras and microphones and all these sorts of things, but it's not enough to significantly fund the actual travel. Though I did apply, YouTube has this program for 360 videos. They're rolling out a new format called VR 180, and they're like, if you get admitted to this program and you agree to make like 5 100 VR 180 videos, then they'll like give you a camera and help fund some of the videos. So if that comes through, that'd be really neat, but I'm not sure. Paul Murphy says, do you think you'll ever make it to Scotland in the near future? I hope so, Paul. And funny story behind going to Scotland. So we went to Ireland a couple years ago, and when we were in Ireland, we went to like look in a book of coat of arms because my dad always told me that Rainy is an Irish name. And only to find out we look in a coat of arms in Ireland, and Rainy is not an Irish name. It's a Scottish name. So I do want to go to Scotland to see where the Rainy name actually comes from. But if you're wondering, I don't think my majority is not Scottish. The majority the majority of me is Czech. I'm half Czech, and then also a big portion of Norwegian. Eric says, hi Chris, have you ever been to Nashville, Tennessee? Yes. Overnight, I was there for like a couple hours. I visited like Opryland, the Grand Old Opry, had some barbecue, and then continued to drive on. Some dude says, I like your voice. Thanks, some dude. I appreciate it. It's funny because actually there's a bunch of people who leave comments and say they hate my voice, and I have the world's most annoying voice. So I'm glad you like it. And for those people who say I have an annoying voice, I say I'm sorry, but it's the only one I've got, and I can't change it all that much. And speaking of my dad, he's right there, Electric Rick. He's on. Hey, Dad, and he says I think a bunny cam would be fun. You know, a bunny cam probably would be fun. We'll have to figure out how we do that. Shall we go see what the bunny's doing back here? There he is. Whoop. Whoop. There's the bunny. Look at that. All right, enough bunny for that. This video will get too cute too quickly if I stay on the bunny for too long. All right, and I have to be careful with that and not try to make too much noise as I set it down because I know this microphone I've got is like super sensitive. KP says, I love your Vegas videos. Thank you, KP. Joe F says, I just got my yellow t-shirt. Thank you. You're welcome, Joe F, and congratulations to winning. Jamie says, what do you think of the new refurbishment of the new Stratosphere Hotel? I haven't been to it since it's been refurbished. I don't know. What do you think of it? Is it cool? Eric says, congratulations. Thank you, Eric. John says, how did you and your stuffed panda meet? That's a great question. And I assume by that you mean, how did Topher and I meet? OC Girl and I, one of our early dates was going to the San Diego Zoo. And we bought this panda at the San Diego Zoo. Some long time ago. So he's actually a fairly senior panda. And then this panda right here, some awesome Yellow Productions fans, and this is why I say you guys are so awesome, said, Chris, we have the same panda that you do. Well, slightly different model, but from the San Diego Zoo too. And I said, hey, if you ever want your panda to go to a new home, we'd love to adopt him. And they were so kind enough to send him to me. So that's where we ended up with these two pandas. And then this is the, so why do I carry them, right? Why are they in the videos? I think it's fun, and I think it's different. And it's funny, on my Las Vegas videos, there's some people who are like, grow up with your panda. Your panda makes you look like a little kid. And I'm like, to you people who think that, and you people, I'm not talking to any of you right now, because if you're watching this, you're the diehard fans, and you like the pandas. But to all those people who aren't watching, you guys should have a little bit of more fun in your hearts. That's what I have to say. So my goal is to bring a little bit more fun and levity to the world. Melanie says, great budget-friendly places to stay on Maui. Melanie, I think if you're looking for cheap places to stay on Maui, the cheapest is right around the airport. Because the airport has like more people who stay there for business as opposed to the big resort areas. So that's my recommendation. Dorit says he loves Rick Steves. One Man, One Camera says the Japanese book says Kyushu, which was this one. You're right. This Japanese book does say Kyushu. That was the last part in Japan that we went to. Doritz asks if I've ever been to the Canary Islands. I have not been to the Canary Islands. KP asks if I've ever done a capsule hotel in Japan. I have not, but I would like to do a video on it. I need to find one that I feel like is video friendly. Steven Stereo says, thank you much. Love your channel. Thank you, Steven. Veronica says, hi from Riverside. Hi, Veronica. Leroy joined in from England. Hi, Leroy. Thanks for joining in from England. Yippee says, when you travel somewhere, how much time do you dedicate to making videos? Do you have a chance to enjoy the place? Yes and yes. Time to videos. A lot. Between OC Girl and I, she takes a lot of pictures. She writes about it in a blog, and I do video. We joke that if we're following, say, a Rick Steves walking tour and it says it takes 1 hour, it takes us about 3. So you figure for any one thing that normally takes some set amount of time, we probably take 3 times that long. And there have been some trips, like to Singapore, that I've gone strictly to do video. And I've enjoyed the place as I've done it, but I've also captured the video as well. But I will say there are certain times through an attraction, and OC Girl and I have an interesting dialogue about this, where we'll get someplace and she'll be like, hey, aren't you going to shoot some video? And I'll be like, well, I kind of need to experience it first. to know what to say. And then after I experience it, then I can say something about it. So that's also why it takes longer, because it may be that I'm shooting the video in a way that makes you feel like I'm discovering it for the first time, that I'm seeing it on camera, but it's often the second time. I mean, the second time 30 minutes later, but yes. Otherwise, I wouldn't know what to say, and it would just be a stumbling, bumbling video where I'm making a lot of ums and ahs, and what should I say? Ian says, congrats, your videos are very useful for my vacation in Japan. Thanks, Ian. Can't Stop Lion says, Vegas here, just found you last week. Good stuff. Awesome. B. Rod says, how did you guys like Kauai? I mean, I always enjoy Hawaii, but for me and the islands, I like Oahu number 1, Maui number 2, and Kauai number 3. But in that order, we haven't been to the Big Island, so, Maui number 2, the Andaz in Maui, the hotel, the Andaz Maui, which is like a Hyatt affiliated hotel, is like my favorite hotel in the world. My favorite hotel in the world is in Maui. Jamie says, is there any more new stuff coming to Las Vegas? There's always new stuff coming to Las Vegas. I've got a new Las Vegas video I need to edit titled, the best time of year to go to Las Vegas is the holidays and what to see during the holidays. So that'll be coming out in the next coming months. Tony says he's going to San Diego. What park would you recommend? The San Diego Safari Park, the zoo, or SeaWorld? If you only do one, I would recommend the San Diego Zoo. Doritz asks if I've ever been to Auckland. I never have. Liesel says, my husband and I love watching your Bangkok Thailand videos. What's the best food to bring back from there? And I think OC Girl answered this. She said, bring back some curry paste from the supermarkets. We were able to make a lot of curry on our own with those. So that is my recommendation, which is right there as you see it on your screen. John asked, where do you live? We live in Southern California in the United States of America. David says, I would love to have you and OC Girl join me as my guests on Haunted San Diego Ghost Tours, a fun historical tour with haunted buildings. Cool, David. Shoot me an email or a Facebook message, and let's talk about it some more. Facebook, my link to my Facebook page is in the description below, or if you want to shoot me an email, it's chris@yellow.net, yellow with 2 W's, YELLOWWW.net. Hakim says, me and the channel is so cute. That's awesome. John says, have you ever been to the Space Needle in Seattle, Washington? Yes, we have been to the Space Needle. Abelino asks if you've been to the Aston Waikiki. I have not, but I don't know that it's like, I've walked by it and I'm not sure that it's that great. So we're coming up on the end of time. So I wanna offer the contest question, and then I'll rapid fire go through the remaining questions there, and we'll wrap up, because I believe all good YouTube videos begin and end on time. And so my question to you is, I have 2 questions to you. Each question will win a t-shirt. How about that? So the first question is, and I need to do this so I can see what I'm doing with this camera. And let me turn off this overlay. The first question is this bunny back here. Ooh. That bunny that this isn't focusing on. That bunny right there. Focus, focus. Okay, well maybe it's not going to focus on him. Anyway, that bunny, how old is he? How old is that bunny? Okay, that's my first question. So if you're the first person to answer how old that bunny is, focus, camera, focus, hello. This is the problem with using a webcam instead of my usual camera. And I don't know why it doesn't focus. Well, I just might be blurry for the end. All right, so anyway, answer that question, how old that bunny is. And then the second question I have is the new channel that I'm launching. What is the new name of that channel going to be? The first 2 people to answer those questions win some Yellow Productions t-shirts that I will ship anywhere in the world. So, let's see. All right. One man, one camera answered that question. Ooh, second. But Sharpie, 999. Somebody coming in all at once. I need to look at this other thing. Let's see. Who answered that first? Yeah, one man, one camera. You answered it first, because even though you sort of spelled it incorrectly, you did say 9 queeks. So I'm going to give you 9 queeks, one man, one camera. All right, excellent. Thank you all for the answers. There were a couple of you that also gave correct answers, but one man, one camera was the first. So one man, one camera, send me a Facebook message or email me at chris@yellow.net with 2 W's, and let me know where you want me to send your shirt and what size you want that to be. Okay, so now people are answering the question about what's the name of that office channel that I'm launching. And wow, Ricky, you are amazing. Ricky answered the Office Survival Guide. Ricky, you win. So, Ricky, you are going to have like all the Yellow Productions merchandise in the world pretty soon. So my question to you, Ricky, I've already sent you 2 shirts. Have I sent you socks yet? Have you got socks? Maybe you have socks. I'll come up with something else to send you so that you'll get something else new as well. So congratulations to Ricky, and congratulations to one man, one camera. All right, so now all those comments that I said I was going to go through, well, we are pretty much out of time. Space Needle, will I be visiting Resort World in Las Vegas when it opens? I hope so. Rainey says, I need a yellow t-shirt. How do I get one? Rainey, you get one by winning one of these contests in these videos. That's how you get one. And Veronica asks if I'll ever do an Orange County video. I hope to do one of those. And so with that, we are at the end of time. I thank you all for watching. Thank you all for joining the live stream. Thank you for being a part of this amazing thing called Yellow Productions. Thanks for helping Topher, Columbus, MacGyver, the bunny, and I get this fantastic 100,000 subscribers plaque. And with that, I won't say goodbye because I'll see you in the next video.